What's going on, everybody? Happy sensational Sunday. Hopefully, you're enjoying it on this beautiful weather out here in Maryland right now. I am Guns Picks, and yes, I am alone today. Dabby had some family stuff he had to deal with, and that's just part of the business. Sometimes you can make this show, sometimes you can't, but don't fret, folks. I am going to bring you the hottest plays of the Sunday late slate that you have ever seen before. We are obviously kicking it right now. We went absolutely electric yesterday. We went 3-1 on the early stuff, and then we backed it up yet again with a 5-2 smacking of the books right in the mouth, making us 8-2, 8-3 for the show this weekend. So this is an absolutely electric show. And hey, if you've been following the picks that are on the Breaking Ankle show, let me tell you the record for this for coming from me. I'm 27, 18, 60% here, folks. That's cashing all day long, baby. And 8 of you beautiful bastards are joining me in the chat. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you don't do so already. Michael is in the chat giving me some greetings. What's good? And I know you guys got to get into the chat and let me know what you're going to be cashing on today. And also tell me whatever is going on in your lifestyle, drinking, smoking, you know the whole deal. But let's come in here and give you the plays that pay the bills. And we start this off properly with a 4:30 game, Eastern Standard Time, Big Ten action with a lot of implications for tournament bids. Indiana versus Michigan, Assembly Hall, Bloomington, Indiana, and Michigan is going on the road here. And by God, am I going to be taking him here at +4? Give me Michigan +4 as the play here. Let me tell you why. Michigan's coming off a crucial and brutal double overtime road loss to Illinois as 5-point dogs, but they won 4 straight prior. And they've covered the last 4 games as well. So I think this is a Michigan team that is got their back against the wall. They have 13 losses. They're not necessarily out of contention, but they are holding on for dear life in this spot here. And I think they show out here versus the Hoosiers. Indiana is 2-2 straight up in their last 4 games, and they're off a home loss versus Iowa, 90-68, getting absolutely brutalized in their last game. 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 games. So this is a falling knife here, folks, where I think Michigan is just the perfect team to back here as a dog. Michigan's offense, 41st in offensive efficiency, and they don't turn over the ball very much. They're 9th in turnovers. That's going to be key here because when you actually look at the Indiana defense, they have a pretty decent defense, 47th in defensive efficiency. However, they don't create a lot of turnovers. They're 286 in the country as far as creating turnovers versus their opponents. So I think it kind of matches up well with what Michigan does. Michigan doesn't turn over the ball here. I think they can keep this game at least close, if not try to win the game. Indiana's offense is 27th in offensive efficiency, 31st in field goal percentage, and 178th in offensive rebounds. They're going against a Michigan defense that's 56th in defensive efficiency, 64th in defending shots, and 74th in defensive rebounds. Now, Michigan needs to win this game. Like I said before, just even stay into the conversation for a tournament spot. Losing to Illinois did hurt them, but they're not completely out of it yet, folks. They still have the conference tournament. Obviously, they can make a nice little push here, but they have to win this game here, folks, to even be on a blip on the radar to the committee who's making the selections here. Indiana did win the first matchup, so there is a revenge spot. They only won by 1 on the road to Michigan. So I think there's going to be a chip on the shoulder. You have a team again back against the wall fighting for their tournament lives, whereas Indiana really doesn't have to fight for their lives because I think they're going to have a spot regardless. So here we go, Michigan. Don't fail me now. Give me him here at +4 as my doggy here. I got a lot of dogs, so this isn't my doggy of the day. It's just one of the dogs. As we fire shots across the board, I'm feeling so good on this Sunday. I forgot to mention, or actually, I forgot to put on the shades. So let me do that here. Ooh, I'm feeling like it's spring as I take a little sip of the Vive. There we go, baby. Let's go into the next play on the board here. Got to go to the comments first. Make sure I give a few shout outs. Michael, you're reading my mind here. You're setting the segue here. South Alabama +1 is all I got on that one. And guess where I'm going with this one? You read my mind there, Michael. South Alabama versus James Madison, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're playing at a neutral site because this is conference tournament time. Pensacola Bay Center, Pensacola, Florida. And I'm going with the doggy here, South Alabama, plus 1.5 as a play. Listen, South Alabama's won 7 out of the last 8 games. They're 7-1 against a spread in that spot, in that span, I should say. JMU is coming off a close win, no cover versus Troy, a Troy team that I just think is incredibly inferior to them. So maybe they're regressing a little bit. Uh, Winning 5 out of the last 6 games, though, 4-2 against the spread in those spots. You got to look at the matchup statistically with these two teams as well. South Alabama, 127th in offensive efficiency, 75th in field goals, and 12th in turnovers. So this is a team that plays pretty efficiently for a mid-major. Now you got JMU's defense. They're 69th in defensive efficiency, 100th in defending shots, 28th in turnovers. So what JMU does well is they create turnovers and give their opponents fits, but they're playing the South Alabama team that doesn't really allow that too much, and they take care of the basketball. So I like that a lot here with South Alabama. Now JMU's offense, 145th in offensive efficiency, 103rd in field goal percentage, 95th in offensive rebounds, 242nd in making their free throws. Now you got to look at the other side here for South Alabama, which I think they have an edge is on this side of the court. 81st in defensive efficiency, 26th in defending shots, 183rd in defensive rebounds. So they can bang the boards. If they can bang the boards and not allow JMU to get those second chance opportunities, I think we found ourselves a good spot here with South Alabama. Now, South Alabama has just been very dominant when it comes to playing on neutral sites this year. They're 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 this season, playing on a neutral floor. So they're very comfortable not playing a home game against a team, any team for that matter, on a neutral floor. They are able to cover the spread. This line is short, in my opinion, and I think we got a little bit of a hedge here with the dog. Give me South Alabama plus 1.5 as my second play. As we go back in the chat, and Michael is just flooding it, and he just says, "Great minds, guys. You know it. You know it." We barely disagree on plays. I'll say that. And of course, Michael giving his analysis on the game, forcing same thing, man. It was like you took my notes away from me and decided to use them as your own. Not saying you did plagiarize, but we just think on the same level as far as capping is concerned, which I love, guys. 13 of you beautiful bastards watching me on YouTube right now, please get into the chat and let's talk, man. Let's get the jibba jabba going right now on this beautiful Sunday. I want to talk to you guys, man. I don't want you just staring at my beautiful face all day long. I want you to be able to verbalize with me so I can put some stuff up in the chat and give you my insight or just say, "What's up?" to the GUNZ. As we go into play number 3 on this one. Going back to the Big Ten, actually a lot of Big Ten games today, so it's going to be very heavily loaded towards that direction today. Wisconsin, Minnesota, going to Williams Arena, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This game tips off, and I'm going with another dog here. Got to go with Minnesota on this one, plus 5.5 as a play. Listen, where Wisconsin is coming from, they're a falling knife. They're 1-3 straight up in their last 4 games, and they're coming off a close loss to Purdue. Granted, they played their guts out because they're playing for the tournament lives consistently week after week, and they're still losing games, and people still talk about them in the on the bubble. So they're going against a Minnesota team that really isn't that great overall. 1-9 straight up off a win versus Rutgers in their last game at home as 8.5-point dogs. So granted, they do lose games, but for the most part, they're able to stay with a lot of teams and give teams fits. And I think they do so here with a Wisconsin team that has holes all over the place, especially on the offensive side. If you actually break down the offense for Wisconsin, my God, are they bad? 150th in offensive efficiency, 265th in field goal percentage, 385th in offensive rebounding, and 322nd in free throw percentage. This is a team that you just can't back. I mean, defensively, granted, they're in the top 25 as far as defensive efficiency is concerned. So that kind of keeps their record above 500. But their offense does them no justice. They cannot put points on the board. So they rely heavily on their defense more than do their offense. Minnesota's defense, not great overall, and statistically on the offensive side, they're not great either. I mean, if you talk about Minnesota's defense, they're ranked 183rd in defensive efficiency, but they're playing a really bad Wisconsin offense, so it probably like washes out there in this spot. Now, these two teams did meet on January 3rd. It was a really close game, 63-60, as 13-point favorites. Wisconsin was. Now you see the line here at 5.5, maybe sixes you can find out there. So it's given me the right appropriate line swing, whether it be 7 to 8 points. And it's always those type of line swings I love to from away versus home that I always like to take advantage of. And I think for as bad as Minnesota is, I don't think they should have this much of a line swing. However, the books know what's going on with this game, and I think it's a Minnesota spot. Now, Minnesota, when they go against Wisconsin, they actually play their best ball. They've covered 5 out of the last 6 meetings, while Wisconsin is 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 on the road. Minnesota is 3-1-1 in their last 5 home games. They're 5-10 overall this season at home, but they've actually picked things up on the back half of the season. So I think it's the right spot to be taking Minnesota on a short line here. And I know Wisconsin's playing for the tournament lives, and they should be inspired to play in this game. But I think when they're playing a Minnesota team that really knows how to figure them out and plays their best ball consistently versus the Badgers, no matter which team they're playing in the last 2 to 3 years, I got to be taking the Gophers on this one. Give me Minnesota plus 5.5 as my third play, baby. As we go back to the chat, now we're awake, aren't we? It's late Sunday. You guys are sleeping in. And Joe says, sorry, no chat catching the NBA action right now. Granted, I picked a terrible time to do a show, but I was trying to figure out a time to do it with Dabby. And what happened is we just couldn't get the schedule right. And unfortunately, some family importance happened in that one, and family over everything, as we all know here. And then Free Mind always in the chat. What it do, baby? Bow, bang. And Michael just saying, what do you think about Texas State tonight versus UL Lafayette? Actually, I ignored the game, and let me tell you why. I just think ULL is on another level right now. However, Texas State is a great covering team too. So what you have is the clash of the Titans when it comes to who you need to pick in this game. Should it be Texas State or should it be ULL that's just playing red hot right now? I think ULL could smoke them, or Texas State could keep this game close. And it's just nothing I want to be doing with. And also, man, Tabby joining. I didn't even see that. What up, fam? In the car driving. Got to drop the. Yeah, see? He's dropping a play for us tonight, and it's going to be an official on the Breakin' Ankles show off a +5 sweat from the fam. He's going Clarkson over 3-point field goals. Well, that's NBA. That's not college, so it doesn't count, I guess. My bad. I should have read the whole sentence before I started spracking my mouth off. I'm moving way too fast. My mouth is moving too fast for my brain, as they say. Joe Billings back with us. Let's cash these dogs. How about some money lines? I say if you're going to go money line on this one, Michigan's the money line on this one. Also, South Alabama. I wouldn't take money line in Minnesota. I just feel like Wisconsin will probably sneak this out with like a 3-point win or something like that, but it'll keep it under the number. But Michigan, South Alabama, both solid money line plays. I probably would split it if, I'm a little bit conservative on my bets, and I always take every number that I'm given. So take that with a grain of salt when you're doing that. But I would probably put a little bit more on the spread and then maybe a little sprinky dink on the money line for both of those games, South Alabama and Michigan. All right. Enough of these damn dogs, as they say. Let's play around with some favorites, and we'll go back to the Big Ten. Northwestern, a team that has been red hot as of late, but then regressed in their last 3 or 4 games. Going against Rutgers here on senior night, Jersey Mike's Arena. I've seen enough Jersey Mike commercials to choke a horse. Piscataway, New Jersey, and 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This game tips off, and I'm going with Rutgers -5 as a play. Yes, I know I'm playing with fire on this one with Rutgers. They haven't been playing too well down the stretch. But then again, I don't think Northwestern has either. Northwestern has lost 3 straight games, including 2 back-to-back road games, 1-2 against the spread in their last 3. All right. Now, Rutgers 2-2 straight up in their last 4, 2-2 against the spread in that stretch. But they're off an upset loss versus Minnesota, a Minnesota team that has 8 wins. 75-74 is 8.5-point road favorites. So they're coming back home with a chip on their shoulder, really mad at themselves for losing that, probably a look ahead type of spot going into this game. And now you got them playing at home, very motivated. They're sitting on the bubble as well as far as making the tournament. So this is a very important game for Rutgers. Now you got let's look at the stat analysis of this one. Northwestern 104th in offensive efficiency, 318th in field goal percentage, 196th in offensive rebounding, 49th on the charity stripe. Now this is a Northwestern team that is more predicated on the defensive side versus the offensive side. So I know this team on the road is going to have difficulty scoring points against a Rutgers team, by the way, that is fourth in defensive efficiency this season, 13th defending shots and 123rd in defensive rebounds. So this team has a humongous edge on the defensive side versus Northwestern. So it's all going to come down to this. Can Rutgers put up points versus Northwestern's defense? Northwestern's defense is ranked 26th in defensive efficiency, 89th in defending shots, 133rd in defensive rebounds. Now, Rutgers offense is kind of middle of the road, 155th in offensive efficiency. They're not a really good shooting team as well, 294th in field goal percentage, but they can get to the boards a little bit, 74th in offensive rebounding. So this is going to come down to banging the boards here, folks. Rutgers has an edge there on the offensive side versus a Northwestern team that doesn't really rebound well altogether. So if there's going to be any stance on this one, the edge goes to the Rutgers rebounding in hopes that the defense will just do what they do best and just wreak havoc on a middle of the road Northwestern offense. Now Rutgers, when they play at home, they play their best ball. They are absolutely backable at home, similar to Maryland in a lot of ways. They're 11-4 against the spread in the last 15 home games, 7-2-1 off a loss too, by the way, and they're coming off a bad one versus the Gophers. Also, if you look at the matchup altogether, Rutgers has covered the last 4 meetings versus Northwestern, and Rutgers is sitting, like I said, on the bubble. They have 12 losses here, folks. They can't afford to lose much more. I mean, granted, if they win this game and they get a loss somewhere down the road in the conference tournament, they're still going to be considered on the bubble. But, however, I will say this. Rutgers has to win tonight. And there's a reason why they're favored here, -5. They did win the first matchup versus Northwestern at Northwestern. I believe they're a -1 favorite in that game. Now the line swung -4, which is probably, pretty right considering. But I think too many boxes check here for Rutgers for me. And I'm going to be rolling with them as a favorite here. Rutgers -5 to get it done. As we go back to the chat, let me see what's going on. Thank yous are all I need, man. That's it, man. Joe Billings bringing the heat. Let's go, baby. So that's going to do it for the show here, folks. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention best bet. Well, my best bet of the night. I'm going to be fooling around with conference tournament play. I think it's going to be South Alabama +1.5 is going to be my best bet tonight. Listen, I think they're playing red hot right now. They've covered 7 out of their last 8. I know JMU is playing red hot as well, but they won the first matchup versus JMU, and I think they're going to be poised to make a run. And also, they've covered the last 5 on neutral sites, so I think they're poised for tournament contention as well. So give me South Alabama +1.5 to get it done at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So those are the plays, folks. To recap, I'm going to be on Michigan +4, South Alabama +1.5, Minnesota +5.5, and I'm going to go with Rutgers to get it done at home on senior night. Get up in Jersey -5. Those are the 4 plays. So 15 of you guys are joining me today. I much appreciate it. This has been a real hot show so far this season. We're hitting at 60% a clip alone on this one with tons of plays to go, baby. We got conference tourneys. We got the NCAA tournament. Shoot, we may even dabble with a little bit of NIT or some of the other small tournaments. CIT, doesn't matter. It's like we're gonna go find the value on every single pick on the planet, and we're going to give it to you guys so you guys can cash with us. So thank you for joining me on this Sunday and taking time out of your day. And hopefully we're going to cash some tickets tonight. Those are the 4 plays. And let's just keep the momentum going, baby. Listen, I'm coming off a 23-7 day yesterday, hitting over 76%. That is unreal numbers, man. Shooting shots as I always do, and I'll come up hitting most of the time. So thanks for joining us. We'll we'll see you next time. We'll figure out what the time frame is going to be for the rest of the week. I don't think there's going to be many Monday plays for me, so maybe some late night bangers on Tuesday. We'll see how that goes. So good luck with your plays today. Let's dominate the board, and as always, let's keep dancing. Bang.